Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm John Palacio.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And thank you for joining us this morning. It's a wet Wednesday morning in the city. Paul, my goodness, what's going on?
Man, I heard the rain falling from about 2, 3 this morning. I was in the bed. Probably taking that last turn before I wake up. The showers, and I'm like, I want to stay in bed this morning.
I could imagine. When I woke up, when the alarm said, I'm ready, time to get up. That was when I heard the rain, and I was like, my goodness, that's how it's going to be for the day. But nonetheless, I'm so, Paul, I'm the type of person whereby, there's always a positive in it. We think about getting wet. And oh my goodness, it's going to be a miserable day. But let's think about what we eat. Our plants, they need it. They need sunlight. They need rain. They need water. So it's a great thing. And I think that people are supposed to look at life from that perspective. When the streets are wet, that's the time you take your time. It's a way to save your own life.
And we need cooler weather as well.
Of course, man.
All that sun every single day because. The sun was on a roll last week. I'm not kidding. The sun was just unbearable. So to have a little bit of cool every now and again.
Last night was a cool night too. It was very cool. It was very cool. But I'll tell you what, we're not the pros here. We're just giving our perspective for the time being. A little later on in our show for this morning, we'll be chit-chatting with the folks at the National Met Service to tell us exactly what we should expect for the weather today and for the next few days, all right? But the first order of duty for us every morning right here at Open Your Eyes, primarily, thank you so very much for opening your eyes and starting your morning right with us, is actually to take a look at some of the news stories that hit the news last night. And there were a few things that actually hit social media yesterday and hit the news yesterday by storm. There is the land situation there in Big Falls that's going on at this particular point. There is the COVID situation that we're trying to deal with within our country. A little later on, of course, Paul is here, and he hit up that story yesterday about the whole tacos situation. So, of course, we'll be chit-chatting about that. But, getting back to what it is within our country and the whole land issue, indigenous communities are saying, hey, this is ours. But there's some who came out first and being as strong and powerful as possible, winning their case at the CCJ, telling this land is for these people, and then now the Garifuna community saying, hey, we're here as well, and we would like to get our lands sorted out.
It's interesting. The Garifuna people, they're kind of taking a cue from the case that the Mayas won, being indigenous people. And I think the Garifuna people, as indigenous people, they're in a good position because they get to see, they get to watch front row audience per se, how the Mayas work through this process and how their situation is playing out. So that's interesting. On the Mayan front, we're already seeing some sort of division. Even in their own factor, we're seeing some sort of division where some communities of that 28, 29 are represented under MLA, TAA. Some are saying, listen, we hear we understand the fight, we hear what's going on, but we don't want to be a part of it. Basically, 3 communities are saying we don't want to recognize our land as communal or customary land. We want to be able to own our titles from the government, own our leases, and one of their main things, their reasons for that is we want to be able to visit financial institutions and receive assistance
Yeah.
for education, to expand our houses, to expand our businesses. And so when you think of it in that sense, it's like, it makes sense. It makes sense what these persons are saying. We spoke to, of course, the Christina Chuck yesterday, spokesperson for MLA,
MLA.
and she basically said, well, they have a right to choose.
They have a right to choose, indeed. You're so right. Christina Koch actually came out yesterday saying, in a Zoom call with us, saying that, but what they need to do as well is that they need to get majority of the community.
Right.
That's one of the things that she was saying. She's saying that, you know what, it's not the amount of people that we would expect to make anything turn that is actually with the entire process. So she is saying they need to go back to the communities and they need to try and get a majority of their people on there.
Yeah.
So that's a situation that's going on there. There is also the situation there in St. Bite Village,
Right.
whereby, you know, a gas station is being built. The folks in that particular community, which are predominantly Garifuna, are saying, "Hey, no, this is not what we want." You know, you need to consult with the community first before you do your work. So there's so many things that's brewing. Speaking of land situation brewing, let's take a look up in San Pedro,
Right.
whereby the PM came out saying that, you know what, there's a possibility, or we're actually looking into the possibility of a link road between Belize and Mexico.
You know, the day he announced it, it was actually at a sort of press interview right here on this compound, and I took it as a preliminary sort of announcement. You know, understanding that these things may take years, in some cases decades, a decade or a bit more than that, to actually see them come to pass.
Yeah.
I know that there are some concerns where conservationists are concerned with, in terms of the ecosystem that this bridge may disrupt. Again, it seems to be one of those delicate balances between development and environment. Yeah, so
that's another big issue. That's something
Right.
that's actually brewing, and it continues to, because look, if we're going to develop, you know, there must be a few things that there will be a few disruption.
There will
but
be.
what some folks are saying, that yes, leave the development to happen. Leave it, because what happens is that we start to live around it, and then we find another way of how we could eventually make things better for that environment and of course for ourselves. So there's, you know, that's one of the things, again, that's brewing. There's a state bank and all these ports that they,
Right.
you know, that are
and
being
they all
proposed
have
at
an
this particular point.
environmental element
yes.
to it. The St. Bite gas station has an environmental element to it. And it's, on one side, you have the environmentalists very passionate about their work, but on the other side, you have the economists, the developers, very passionate about their
What
work.
they're doing.
And they both have sound reasons as to why doing what they need to do is beneficial to the country.
Yeah. I can remember the situation with the dams. I mean, that was
Right.
one of the situations, you know, whereby environmentalists are saying, hey, we're not able to do this. We'll displace the macaws and the birds and the wildlife and the flora, fauna in those areas. And then bang, bam, dam. And at the same time, people are actually saying, you know what, are we getting electricity from there? But, you know, for me, in order for development, there will be a few things that will be disrupted. And what we need to do is to come together as a people, as a nation, put all these things in the forefront and say, hey, these are the pros, these are the cons. Let's see how we could work our way through there, and then continue for a better Belize. With development comes better Belize. With development comes more jobs. With development, more jobs, more money could be, you know, in the flow. But also in the news yesterday, we had the leader of the opposition on, yourself, along with Isani, had a conversation with him.
Gavin.
Along with Gavin. Yes. Yesterday was Tuesday. I feel Tuesday-ish. But you know, you guys had a conversation with the leader of the opposition.
We did.
And he alluded to testing sites. Now moving into the COVID situation, testing sites around the country. And there's so many testing sites now. Primarily, there were two. Here in Belize City at the city center, in Belmopan at the civic center. They are now being spread out across the country.
It's the whole issue of testing and making tests available to Belizeans. It's an issue that was raised by the leader of the opposition during a press conference, I believe about 2 weeks ago. However, I think it was the day before they had that press conference that the government of Belize decided to open up 2 testing sites. That's the one at the Belize Civic Center, and that's the one in Belmopan. It's a conversation surrounding the fairness of the vaccine, the soft mandates. It's a conversation surrounding that, just considering the fact that if you're requiring that Belizeans get tested every so often or present a vaccine card before entering a building, then are you providing the vaccine is free, but are you providing the means for Belizeans to access the testing? Because we know that testing isn't cheap. It's at least $100, $150, depends on where you go. And so when you do something like that without giving Belizeans free access to test, what you're doing is you're actually telling them, well, you have no choice but to take the vaccine. So it's not, it presents itself on paper as you have a choice, but in reality, because you don't have access to the test, because you don't have the finances to access the test, then your real only option is to take the vaccine. And so I see these testing sites as an opportunity to free that up.
Yeah, indeed. And, the leader of the opposition definitely alluded to that. But it was on screen a while ago, and we could put that up back so folks could know exactly where to go in the event you're looking for testing. In Punta Gorda now, there is one at the Red Cross building, in Dangriga at the BTL Park, in San Ignacio at Falcon Field, in Santa Elena at the Sports Council, in Benke at the Marshallek Cancha, in Orange Walk at Central Park, Louisiana Government School, Banquitas and People's Stadium, and in Corozal also at the Civic Center, in Shanush Health Center, San Andres Community Center. So there are multiple testing sites across the country, which simply means that this should give us a better opportunity to fight COVID. Because then you must know your status. You must know exactly how you're feeling. If you're presenting flu-like symptoms, if you've got the headache, if you've got the fever, then you know for a fact that, hey, this might just be the situation. But testing sites are now popping up everywhere for folks to get the that first-hand opportunity and a closer area to you to go on out, get tested, and know if you're negative, positive, and then from there you move out with your life. But primarily, Paul, this is a situation caused by us, especially with the spreads. Yesterday's numbers were tough. That was 3-something to about 2-something recoveries. So we know that the numbers continue to rise. But people are saying, at what point will we reach the peak of this third wave of COVID? And that's the question. They're the numbers. 321 new confirmed cases over 24 hours. Only 232 recoveries over 24 hours.
So that means that that's over 100 new cases.
Just around 90-something. Just over 100.
Over 100 added to the number of active cases.
111 there. And then these are the numbers that always scares me as well, the under investigations. Because then you've got 348 people who are under investigation, and those were folks who got tested yesterday. What will numbers be like today? But active hospitalizations of 46. We lost a Belizean yesterday. There are 17 people in the ICU at this particular point. Now we've got vaccine areas everywhere, vaccine clinics, vaccination clinics at every nook and cranny of this country. There is nobody who could say, hey, I can't find a vaccination area. I'm not able to be vaccinated because I can't find a spot. You can find a spot. Every healthcare center, they're definitely mobile centers, mobile health centers, and I'll call it like that. There are mobile facilities now moving into villages and stuff like that for you to get vaccinated. And Paul, the vaccine work.
Yeah.
The numbers are actually saying that, hey, When you get the vaccine, you'll have a better chance of fighting this COVID-19. Your body have got a better chance. It does not say that you are not able to catch it. It says that you have a better chance to not get ill and, of course, to not die.
Yeah.
And so for this reason, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is saying, hey, let's go on out there, get tested. Let's go on out there, get vaccinated.
Yeah.
There's some countries, they don't have the amount that we've got.
Right.
There's some countries, it's so hard to find a vaccination place. There are a lot of people who, when they get in the hospital, ill as possible, sick, and then they'd say, you know what? I need to get vaccinated. At that point, might just be too late. Go on out there, get vaccinated.
I think the numbers are encouraging at where they stand, and so you're right.
All right.
We need to see those numbers increase.
Indeed. And you know what? We hope that we motivated you to go on out and get vaccinated with those numbers, because indeed they are alarming. Speaking of motivated, are you ready to be motivated for your day?
I am ready, sir.
It is that time of the morning whereby we take a look at the eye-opener. And the eye-opener is taken from dailyom.com. And it goes like this. Each morning when we awake, we have an opportunity to create our day with what inspires us the most. The moment during the day when we very first open our eyes and come into consciousness is a precious opportunity. It sets the tone for all that comes after it, like the opening scene in a film or a novel. At this moment, our ability to create the day is at its most powerful, and we can offer ourselves fully to the creative process by filling this moment with whatever inspires us the most. It may be that we want to be more generous, or it may be that we want to be more open to beauty in our daily lives. But Paul, whatever the case is, if we bring this vision into our minds at this very fertile moment, we empower it to be the guiding principle of our day. We can reaffirm our vision or affirmation as we shower and eat breakfast, as well as recalling it at various times throughout the day. We can write it down and carry it with us on a little slip of paper if this helps. Simply by being aware of those first moments, we set the stage for a more conscious and lived experience, and we become active participants in the creation of our lives. Paul, that's tough.
That's tough.
That's serious.
It's very serious.
Each morning when we awake, we have an opportunity to create our day with what inspires us the most. You know what I think about, especially after living yesterday or living the last minute and grasping what the last minute had for me. It's a creation for me of the next minute. If I want to make that mistake again, or if I've learned from that mistake and then eventually carry my life through with it. Right. Look, every day is a brand new thing. That's why we call it what? There's this cliche that says, the day, yesterday was the past, today is the present, which is a gift, and then tomorrow is the future. We've got the ability to. It's like it says here in a novel or a film or a movie, you create it. And if you've got that ability to, which you do because you've got your own mind, then why not? I like it.
I spent probably the first half of my 20s with a vision board in my room. And I remember I used to wake up every morning to that vision board, and that's what I used to look at. And it's definitely something this morning's motivation encourages me to go back to, because those first few minutes of your day, and I remember my mother talking to me about this, those first few minutes of your day is the most important.
Yes.
It sets the tone in terms of how your day will go, in a sense. So if you wake up and the first thing you do is start rail up. As you wake up, man, why this rain awful? It wet up this place.
Yeah.
You might just be in for a miserable day. Or a long day. If you wake up and think, man, it's a brand new day to do brand new things and accomplish brand new goals. You know, if you wake up first thing in the morning and you go up on Facebook and the first thing you said are people, bad news,
like the
or people
situation.
like the tacos situation, like, boy, I can't eat tacos this morning. You never know what happened, you know. So it's about taking control of those first few minutes, and so I personally love this one.
Indeed, indeed. Again, Each morning when we awake, we have an opportunity to create our day with what inspires us the most. What an eye-opener. I really and truly appreciated that one. We do hope that you did as well. Like we mentioned, we're here to motivate you. We're here to inform you as well. It is that time of the morning whereby we take a look at the weather. Like we mentioned this morning, rain in the city. We're hoping that everything is A-OK in your neck of the woods. And shortly, we'll be joining the forecaster, or of course, sharing to you what they've got to offer us in terms of the weather. So as soon as we get that cue, then we're good. All right, so here we go. Let's join the forecaster on duty as we speak. Catherine Cumberbatch. Morning, Diva.
Good morning, Jan. Good morning.
Good morning.
And how are you today?
I am okay.
All right.
I'm not going to complain.
Oh, definitely. But Catherine, it is a rainy day here in the city. Well, a rainy morning in the city. We're not sure as to what's going on in the neck of the wood. But here you go with the weather forecast. Talk to us. General situation.
Jan, if you would go on your website and you check the radar, you'll see where most of the showers are located. And indeed, some of the activities over the Belize district, but we also have some of the activities that is along southern coastal areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're seeing that. We're seeing that right now. We're seeing it clear here.
Yes.
And northern and southern portion.
Over the northern areas, we have these activity. As you know, we have moist and unstable conditions continue to dominate our weather. And for the next 24 hours, we can expect cloudy skies with some sunny breaks today, along with outbreaks of showers, isolated thunderstorms, and periods of rains affecting mainly along the coast. And then by afternoon, these activities move over inland areas. Tonight, we expect the activities to increase tonight, the shower activity to increase tonight, and we will, you could expect most of these activities to be along the coast tonight and then spread into most areas. We have a flood watch remains in effect for low-lying and flood-prone areas because over the past day and a half, some areas already experienced something like 2 to 3 inches of rainfall. Wow. So we have this flood watch out. As we expect the high temperatures today to range from along 84 along the coast to 86 inland and 77 in the mountains. And low temperatures tonight, we expect it to drop to 77 along the coast, 72 inland and 66 in the higher elevations. The winds will be coming out of the east at 5 to 15 knots. Sea state will be light. As you noticed this morning, we had a land wind, so we had a northwesterly wind this morning, but that is veering now and going to the east. As we look at the outlook for the outlook through to Thursday night, you could see some outbreaks of showers, ice and thunderstorms and periods of rain developing over most areas on Thursday, and then we have a gradual decrease on Thursday night with most of the activities concentrated mainly over the southern area. For our sargassum forecast, there's a small chance that some of these sargassum mats will develop, move on to some areas during the next few days. And the tropical weather outlook, no tropical cyclone formation is expected in the Atlantic Basin during the next 48 hours. So, Jan, that is what I have for you all this morning.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. You gave us the news there. You're the pro. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome, John, and stay safe always. Can you put me back on to the person that I was talking to who transferred this call, please?
All right, sure.
I don't know if you could do that.
I will try my best. Just hold on there. Thank you, Catherine. But there we go. There we had it from the forecaster there, Catherine Cumberbatch, sharing with us what the weather is going to be like for the next few days. It is that time of the morning whereby we move on into our show for today. We've got 3 segments lined up for you. As a matter of fact, Paul will be starting things off this morning with Carrie Mack, UWI lecturer, who will be addressing the social media regulations and, of course, media literacy and, of course, misinformation posted by users, which, of course, is rampant across the world. Yes. So that's our first conversation for this morning.
And in our second conversation, we have the Belize Leadership Summit. Belize promotes their upcoming summit, which is geared towards equipping and encouraging those in attendance. So we learn more about what this Global Leadership Summit Belize is all about.
All right. And we'll be wrapping things up this morning with a sit-down with representatives from the National Sports Council and also the Belize City Council. They've got something brewing, bro. And what is that? They've got a half marathon run that will be done in the city. I love running, you know.
Yeah.
And I've done a half marathon already. That's about 13.1 miles.
Wow.
It's going to be tough, but right here in the city, and there's nothing like enjoying the beauties of Belize City on a nice run. So they'll be in with us to talk about that half marathon, and that's the Belize City Council and National Sports Council. We're about to take that break. When we come back, of course, we'll jump directly into our first segment. But just before we do that, Shans, I didn't give you any picture. It just came to mind. It's a birthday shout out. My Rotary brother, that's Anthony Hunt. Happy birthday to you, bro. And in fact, let me give you the last 2 words. To you. Do enjoy your day, Anthony Hunt. We love you, my brother. From your Rotary family, happy birthday. We'll take the break. When we come back, we'll jump directly into Karamak, UWI lecturer, and talk about social media, what not to do, what to do. Stay with us. We'll be back.
We have been a partner with Smart for over 10 plus years. We have a full Smart plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this Smart service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our Smart service, we pay an average about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to Smart because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
Smart continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
The continued fight against COVID-19 requires the continued practice of public health measures across all sectors and in every community. Frequent and proper hand washing, wearing face masks, and physical distancing. Do you know who is not physical distancing? The Aedes aegypti mosquito. Did you know that dengue is the most common mosquito-borne viral disease in the world? So let's get to work. Use window and door screens to keep mosquitoes out. Change the water in vases and scrub inside surfaces to remove mosquito eggs. Avoid using saucers with potted plants to prevent collection of water. Securely cover water barrels and drums with mosquito netting and properly fitted covers. Scrub the inside walls of water barrels and drums with detergent 1 to 2 times per week. Walk around the outside of your home and remove or overturn containers that can collect water and become breeding sites. Mosquitoes only need a small amount of water to lay their eggs. Remove unwanted cans, bottles, buckets, or used tires. Other items still in use must be properly stored in covered areas to avoid water settling in them. Clean roof gutters and air conditioner trays. Debushing and removing tall grass from around your home or establishment is also key to reducing mosquito populations. Fight the bite and protect yourself and your family too from mosquito-borne diseases.
Life can be tough when a loved one suddenly departs. Dependents of the deceased are sometimes left alone to pick up the pieces and may be stranded financially. Fortunately, the Social Security Board provides survivor's benefit to ease the burden. Survivor's benefit is paid to a widow or widower, children under 18 years, or up to 21 years if attending school, or dependent parents. A survivor's benefit can be either a grant or a pension. Want to know more about survivor's benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes, and we're now moving into our first segment. We've got in with us a Karamak UWI lecturer, and he'll be addressing social media regulations, media literacy, and misinformation. And these misinformation are often, well, as a matter of fact, extremely oftenly posted on social media. Stefan Campbell is in with us. He is the assistant lecturer, Karamak UWI Mona campus. Stefan, morning, my brother.
Good morning, how are you doing?
Everything nice. Wet morning in the city, but nonetheless, we're doing okay, my brother. So let's jump on into this conversation. This is definitely a very important conversation to have, and we need to address it, especially for the fact that social media now, especially over this pandemic and people being at home, have become, like you mentioned out of the commercial break, a new country. Everybody flocked to to many or various platforms to try and get themselves information. They get misinformed and they get disinformed. So let's jump on there, brother. When we say this, what do we mean by it?
I think, so first and foremost, for some context, the Facebook population is almost 3 billion.
Wow.
Right? Instagram is over 1 billion, and WhatsApp is close to 2 billion. And I'm saying that because it's one company that owns 3 of the largest social media entities on the planet.
Yeah.
And when you put that in context, the closest country to that is China. But the difference is it's not just the amount of people, it's the connectivity, one, to a range of material, media material, people, and all of those things. And there is also the ability to have tailor-fitted experiences. So you two might be sitting beside each other looking at 2 different streams of content, right? But I think we assume, and this is something I say all the time, it's social media doesn't necessarily mean that it's sociable media. Right? It's social because we can interact, but it doesn't necessarily mean sociable and always positive. There are some positive things that you can glean from it, but it is not always positive. And I think you all made mention of the example of the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning, you grab your phone, you go on Facebook. If the first thing you see is bad news, then it sets the tone for the rest of your day. But it's not just that. The algorithm detects that this is the type of content that you look at first and more often, and it continues to push this type of material to you day after day after day after day. And so the issue arises when you continue to consume that content, what happens to you? The other issue is, what if that information is wrong? Then you are creating a worldview, a paradigm, a perspective that is not actually based on facts, but motivates and moves you to do the things or believe the things that you do.
So I know that you're a journalism lecturer, correct? Media.
Yes.
Right. So you're a journalism lecturer in the realm of social media. What do you understand in terms of what the regulations are on media houses that have social media platforms in terms of the information they share? Are those information regulated?
So this is one of the biggest discussions now, because you have regulators, broadcast, for example, the Broadcasting Commission in Jamaica that regulates broadcast entities. But there's not necessarily any regulatory body for something like print or even for social media. So the registered organizations, or for example, the media houses that utilize social media, they have the social media is essentially an extension of the company that already exists. And so they have a greater interest or need in order to ensure that the information they put out is factual and it's valid. So that is sort of a preventative measure and a preventative factor. It doesn't always work. What happens though is that because we all share the same platform, it is easy, and I see it often, it is easy for someone to, for example, someone to craft a logo that's similar to Open Your Eyes that already has a credible background, use the same font, use the same design, and put out false and fake content. And because we are so used to seeing this type of framing, we assume that it's factual. And then it becomes an issue when something that is false or framed as fact gets picked up by an established organization and or established media house and amplifies it. And because you're used to seeing credible content on a platform, then we automatically assume that this information is factual as well. There was a Latin American and Caribbean survey done a few years back. They do it every once in a while, and it says that oftentimes we trust the media more than we trust politicians, and we trust we trust the church, right? But if it is that the information in the media is erroneous, what are the implications? Let's amplify that. Oftentimes we trust what we see on social media because we assume that someone would have gone through the process of ensuring that it's factual because it's posted. We assume that everyone is all good and fair because some of us are fair, so that we don't question, we don't fact check, and then we parrot this information. I don't know how many times it happens to you. Someone shares a YouTube link on WhatsApp and it's forwarded multiple times, and no one questions if this thing is factual. And I've had to do it in so many groups. I had to go to a fact-checking site quickly and post it and says, this is not a credible website. It looks credible, it looks pretty, the person is saying all the things that you want to hear, because that's another telltale sign. You are already stuck in an information loop, the way you only get a certain type of information. So when someone else gives you the type of information that confirms your biases, you automatically assume that it's true.
You know what? While you're saying that, it reminds me of yesterday's big social media situation in Belize, where a media house or a print media, actually put out a story that said that there is information that a tacos vendor has been shut down because that tacos vendor actually put toilet paper to stretch the amount of meat that the person can sell. And that thing, this is what exactly what we're talking about. That thing ran like wildfire, so much so that it hit all the media houses and primarily social media, and just went from there. People were starting to question the situation, question the ministry with who does these checks. And so exactly what you're alluding to at this particular point. And just like Paul mentioned, though, which he asked if they should be regulated, or the next question from that, my brother, is should it be free for all in terms of social media?
Well, and again, this is one of the other tricky things, because think about it. The entity, so we use social media, but we don't we don't own it. And if anyone considered reading the terms of agreements, and I don't think many of us actually do, you realize that the information that you post there it's not necessarily yours. You get some gratification from the likes and the follows and all of those things, but essentially you are a marketplace for advertisers to shop and to pick and to choose. And so how do you regulate a marketplace that does not exist in your borders and in your jurisdictions? And mind you, some European countries have put certain regulations in place for Facebook to ensure that they don't share certain types of content or increase in taxes or penalties and fees and fines. But very few countries, especially developing countries, do that. So how do you regulate such a large entity, private entity as well? It's not a public, it's not a government-owned entity. So the regulations are very, very difficult. Plus, embedded in many of our constitutions is this idea that we have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and all of those things. But very rarely does it get to the courts, where, and usually the courts are the ones that balance the rights and ensuring that one person's rights don't encroach on another person's rights, which is why this Facebook whistleblower is such a big thing, because now you have a whistleblower bringing it to one of the most, bringing it in the context of one of the most powerful countries on the planet. And they are now discussing whether we should have more regulations and how do we regulate without infringing on their rights. But the other thing that we fail to realize is not just freedom of expression and freedom of opinion. This is about profit. Yeah. And oftentimes we forget that when it comes down to it, it's called capitalism for a reason. It's not humanism. And oftentimes the purpose of making money supersedes the everyday rights of the individual. And that's the ultimate argument. Because if a political party or political group is benefiting from the way things are, there's very little reason for them to want to regulate something that they're benefiting from.
Would you speak a bit to how Facebook would perhaps make a profit from misinformation?
So this is the thing. So let me give you an example of the traditional media, regular television. You know, advertisers pay the TV station for the eyes and the ears that they bring, right? The media industry, interestingly, is one of the few industries where the consumers are not necessarily the ones that are doing the purchasing. The advertisers pay to run the organization. Now we have subscriptions and all of those things, but traditionally, you would be looking at free-to-air television and you're not paying anything outside of the TV that you buy. And so you are consuming the content, but you're not necessarily paying for it. Amplify that times 100,000. That's what happens on many social media platforms, right? Yeah. The information that when you sign up and you put in that demographic information, that is sold to advertisers. The more times you click on a certain type of content, the algorithm packages that type of information and sells it to advertisers. So when you go on the other side, the advertising side, you can pick, choose, and refuse. I don't know if it happens to you. You're scrolling through Instagram, you're scrolling through Facebook, and you're thinking about something, and then you see an ad for it. Yes. That's not God. That's not Holy Ghost. That's the algorithm. Because we like to think that we are spontaneous, but realistically speaking, almost every human being has some type of pattern. Yes. Based on your demographic and your psychographic information and the type of information, the type of content that you consume, they can highly recommend, and chances are 9 out of 10 times they are right. And even when you say, no, you're not interested, that is information that they can use. So they say, all right, he doesn't like this, how about this? Yeah. until they get it right, and that information is built up and that is sold to the highest bidder. Yeah. So I think we need to acknowledge that this thing is not all good, right? It's not saying that it's all bad, but that level of awareness to be able, and some platforms and some devices actually now allow you to choose what apps track you, right? So it will actually ask you now, the iPhone will ask you, do you want this app to track you? And you can say no. That is a huge step, because before you were not able to make that choice. Right? Before, all the information, all the content, and again, because we never read the terms of agreement, we just assume that it's ours, it's our space, it's your profile, but it's not necessarily yours.
So, Steph, I want to piggyback on what my brother here said with respect to misinformation. The question is this: how to verify information posted and the possible repercussions.
So it is, and when we teach things like media literacy, and media literacy essentially looks at how to critique certain types of content, how to create certain type of content, how to analyze yourself to figure out if this thing has an impact on me, and if it has an impact on me, why, and my own beliefs and all of those things. So the first thing you need to consider on social media, if there is any content, it's always good. So you see a news story that is released. It's not verified. It's a new account. Somebody says something, and it's not on what we would consider the reputable media platforms. Now, sometimes it means that there's a delay in the content getting there. But the reality is regulated media houses, and we teach a master's in media management as well that teaches how to balance, profit with ensuring that you maintain your ethics, right? And one of the ethical standards is ensuring accuracy. So even though it's posted on Facebook, you sometimes need to check the reputable media houses to ensure that that information is there, because they have a greater stake. They don't want to lose their license, or they don't want to get sued for defamation and all of these things. So they have a greater interest in ensuring that information is factual. The average citizen, I'm not saying that somebody just gets up and posts wrong information, and there's a difference between misinformation and disinformation.
Yes.
Misinformation, the information is wrong. Disinformation is the intent to deceive, right? And because all of this exists on the same platforms, you have to do your fact checking. Now, there are fact checking websites where you can go on to just type in. I usually type in the name of the entity, if it is framing itself as a Facebook entity or as a social media news entity. Type it in. Look at the other stories that they've put out. And one of the telltale signs, when somebody puts out information and they say, do your own research, oftentimes they don't have the information. But because we see do your own research, we think that, yeah, this person definitely did their research. So they're telling me to do my own research. Now, it is good to do your own research, but don't look for the information on the same platform where you are getting the potential disinformation. That's the funny thing, because you look at one Facebook user and then you look at another Facebook user, and because the other Facebook user disagrees, but they're disagreeing with the point that you already disagree with, you use that as confirmation. That's not how it works. So I think we are using search engines and all of those things less and less. We are actually locking ourselves, as I said, in that information loop or misinformation loop, assuming that we are getting more information isn't necessarily more accurate information. And I think everyone needs to approach it with some air of skepticism from the very beginning. How I see it, unfortunately, majority of social media content I view as guilty until proven innocent.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. Because I do not jump or rush to share something.
Okay.
There's this case, I don't know if you're all paying attention to it, but this religious cult in Jamaica, the story religious cult where 3 people died and all of those things.
Yes.
And there was a flurry of YouTube videos posted and saying that the head of the church actually died. And then a few hours later, the traditional or the reputable media houses released their stories saying that he's actually in jail. And then when you look at the comments, people say, but I thought he died, but I thought he died, but I thought he died. So it's very interesting that it's so easy for someone to post without any repercussions that nobody is willing to do those checks and balances. Anybody can say what they want. And then the other thing is, once someone says something that sounds factual and then they end with, it's just my opinion, come on, man.
Or or how reputable that person is, and and so when you talk about misinformation, disinformation, the reputability of an individual speaks to what the population actually will be believing in, and that's one of the things, because it reminds me of the entire vaccination process and vaccination situation. We continue to say, hey, if you want the information, you go to whose website? The World Health Organization. Right. They'll tell you exactly what best, to look forward to.
But so this is the interesting thing. Oftentimes we believe information based on what exists in our current worldview or belief system, right? And oftentimes, because we are familiar with people, chances are we would believe what they're saying before. How many people paid attention to the World Health Organization before this pandemic? How many people actively looked at the WHO or listened to the WHO in order to get their information? So now that somebody is presenting it as good or bad or whatever, you are going based on that person's perception, especially if you were not aware of it. And one of the arguments people talk about, especially when it comes to the vaccine, is that they made it too quick, right? And then you have to ask, so what's that? So if they made it too quick, you have an issue. If they made it too slow, you would have had an issue as well. and not realizing that the technology and the science was there long before. And so whatever modifications they had to make would have made it easier, quicker for it to get to the market or get to the citizen.
Yeah.
But it's based on what we already believe. If there is already an existing mistrust of a system or a group of people, the additional information that supports that mistrust, that is pushed by the algorithm, makes it hard for people to come out of that cycle. So very hard for people to come out of that cycle. And that's why sometimes it's good to step away from it for a while. Because when you get caught in that loop, you believe it or not, there's this documentary called The Social Dilemma on Netflix. I would encourage everybody to watch that. You don't realize how easy it is for you to get stuck in that cycle and not have access to any other type of information. Very easy.
Yeah. So, Steph, with respect to journalism and the entire media, especially, let's speak to journalists. And Paul is one of those folks, but we're talking here in general. How do they, or what would be great steps for them to not to misguide themselves and to follow the better processes of getting information? Would you say there are steps to these things?
No, we can't ignore that sometimes you get the best information or first-hand information from social media, right? And there's this idea, this discussion about citizen journalism. Some people would agree that it's something, others would say that it does not exist because the journalist is him or herself a citizen. So the idea that an untrained individual can just get up and publish a news story is just like saying somebody who has a scalpel and a sphygmanometer can go and become a doctor, right? And so there's this issue of who decides to call themselves a journalist. But for the journalist who is experienced or trained, when you get that first information, the first thing you have to do is verify. You have to verify. Have there been multiple witnesses, multiple sources, right? Can you confirm? If someone quotes information and says that 1 million people have died from the vaccine. What does that mean? That is scary. When you say from the vaccine, are you saying because some people died after the vaccine that there is a direct correlation to the vaccine? Because cause and effect and correlation is two different things. So how stories are framed can also be very misleading and be very dangerous. So one, fact checking. Two, be very careful how you frame your stories. And three, you need to be honest enough to admit, let's say you got some bad information or you published something in the wrong way, to admit that you are sorry, do the damage control, do the apologies, and make sure you get it right? So that's what it is. And because it's so reflexive, in addition to the fact that a lot of media houses have a system of fact checking, so it's not just a journalist. It's the editor-in-chief. So because it goes through so many channels, right? And also you have the legal section where oftentimes we have to run it by them to ensure that it's not defamatory, right?
Yeah.
Because of all of these checks and balances, chances are when your story comes out, you have protections and you can also verify and you have other people to corroborate that this is actually factual. And when it changes, then we would give you an update. But not just to say 3 people died in this event and what you're referencing is a social media account. And that's the only source that they're using, right? And so those are the things that I would encourage. I mean, I think the experienced journalists already know this, but for aspiring journalists as well, this is something, and not just aspiring journalists, I think for everyone who uses any social medium, you need to incorporate this idea that yes, you want to help, but how do you help with information that is wrong or erroneous? And by the way, pointing a camera does not automatically make you a journalist. There was this big story yesterday, I can't remember which state it happened, where this lady was being raped on a train, and people took their cameras out and posted. And not one person decided to call 911 or intervene.
Happened in New York.
Thank you. That does not make you a journalist. that makes you a very irresponsible and inconsiderate citizen, right? And now they are thinking about charging those individuals for being complicit as well. So some information, you need to be able to determine and distinguish what information helps and what information hurts. And ultimately, we look at being a voice for those who are unable to speak and represent themselves. And because of that, you have to ensure that your information is as close to the truth as possible.
Steph, I don't want, we know that time is dwindling just like that, but I want to take this opportunity to ask you about your thoughts in terms of parenting and social media and how to do checks and balances there.
And so this one is a heavy one because, again, we oftentimes, so different generations are punctuated by different types of media. One generation was raised by the radio and there were issues with that. One generation by the television. And now this generation is literally being raised by the internet, and not just the internet as a body, all the subgroups, the television or video-based platforms, the Twitter, the Instagram, the whatnot, and the what have you. And I think parenting cannot be a passive process with social media. So you can't just assume that because the child has a device, that the child is only going to be looking at positive things. You need to actively pay attention to what that child is consuming, and not just pay attention and shut it down, because again, my generation, we would cut it out. Your parents see you looking at something bad, they probably throw the whole TV away. It's about having the conversation about what does this mean, right? And so my area is looking at, so for PhD, I'm looking at suicide among Caribbean men and how potentially the content that we consume, and that's one of the things that the whistleblower revealed, that social media is actually making people more suicidal. And more people, and the majority of those people are adolescent girls primarily.
Yeah.
Right? Because their body image, they don't feel beautiful, they feel like they're not achieving anything. So you need to have these conversations to essentially counteract those negative effects. So you can't just take away the device. Right? Even if the child views something that is potentially dangerous, you have to have this conversation. This is dangerous because you are helping that child shape a healthy self-image and also a healthy worldview, which also means that you have to pay attention to the information that you are also getting, because you can't inform the child, and our children these days know more than we do. How can you inform the child if you don't know what to inform them on or about?
Yeah.
How can you tell a child that they need to discern between fact and fiction if you yourself can't tell the difference, right? And also there are different, so YouTube allows you to regulate what type of content. Different platforms allow you to regulate content. Some devices allow parental control and all of those things. But still, when the child goes to school or the child interacts with peers, they can still get the information. So we cannot assume that because we tell them not to, or we have these controls, that they still don't have access. Yeah. Remember the figures that I gave you. So it's so pervasive, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you counteract this information with the positive information, the beneficial information, to ensure that they are not stuck in that information loop, that negative loop? They're not questioning their self-image, or they're not assuming that the world is all evil and all cruel and all of these.
And Steph, as you say that, I could just imagine, the cringing of parents, because look, at this particular point, especially across the world, man, I wanted to say here in Belize, but across the world, these things are open to everybody. These things are open to children. And with the onset of the pandemic, everybody just went on a device rant. It's just on the device. That's where they do school. That's where they live their life. That's where they get music. That's where they get entertainment. But would you say there are sites that parents could actually drive their children to, so they're better led in a positive way? Because that's Facebook world. Oh man.
So this is the thing, and again going back to the algorithm. If you continue to allow your child to view positive things on the platform, then the algorithm is going to respond in that way.
Perfect.
Right? Every once in a while, some negative thing is they're going to try to test to see what's the uptake and all of these things. But that's why you have YouTube Kids, and YouTube has these regulations. So that information that is available to that child, chances are is a lot more positive than other types of information. It doesn't mean you should take it. You should take it for granted, and it doesn't mean that social media in and of themselves are negative. I see it as a tool, right? And in the same way a hammer can be used to pound a nail, in the same way a hammer can be used as a murder weapon.
Yes.
You need to understand how it works in order to determine what's the best use. And I think ultimately, if people don't remember anything else, don't assume that these things are passive, open, free, and positive. They are tools to be utilized, and you need to understand how these tools should be utilized and what's the best use of them, right?
Yeah.
So they will be helpful as long as you understand the how, and as long as you understand the potential positive and the negative. And that only then can we become a healthy society or a healthy country of Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp users.
I think one of the things we see in this day and age with social media is the divide it seems to be creating, especially in this day and age, among opinions and between different people. So it's the anti-vaxxers versus the vaxxers, it's racism, political issues, political views. Any thoughts on how, and really I think it's just a reflection on social media of perhaps the divides we have in society, in real life, and the differing opinions. But one of the things that social media flags or speaks to is hate speech. Where, how does social media draw the line, or where do you draw the line to say this is no longer an opinion or a position, but this becomes hate speech?
So think about it. I'm sure there are certain slangs or there are certain derogatory terms in Belize that may not exist in Europe, for example.
Yeah.
And because this is a global company, right? Global company that has to determine and decide on an individual basis and also a collective basis what is hate speech, what is good, what is bad. It does not necessarily translate into capturing every single example. So plus the hate actually is shared more and engaged with more. So you mentioned the fact that it could be a reflection of our society. Yes. So we say it's a mirror to society, but it's not. It's a fun mirror. You know, when you go to the circus and the image is amplified, that's exactly what happens. There are differences, but when these differences are repeatedly shown to you, these differences are amplified in your mind, and you believe that this is what exists. It's a theory called the cultivation theory, and it speaks to the idea that the world is meaner than we think because we always consume negative, evil, and bad information. And because of that, the individuals so there were always disagreements between groups and all of these things. But now you have a community of people who disagree with the same things that you disagree with. So you have support for your negative, racist, sexist, whatever views, so that you feel emboldened by this support to continue to put out that information. And then, you know, they say you are what you eat. So the more information like this you consume, is the more you become this. And it's the less of the other side that you get to hear from. And it's the less you interact with the other side. And it's the more you dehumanize that other side. And then, as another thing the whistleblower pointed out, is that many times Facebook entered a country shortly after there was some type of civil war, some type of unrest. It's because we have dehumanized these polarizing groups.
Wow.
And we assume that anything that we can do to that side is going to be warranted. That's where it becomes a problem. So it's not saying that differences or divisions never existed. It's just that it's amplified now. And when it's amplified, then it leads to communities of hate, not just hate speech, but communities of hate. And then these communities of hate get further support, and then they get funding, and then they become an established entity. And when they become an established entity, it's easier to recruit others because they say, all right, well, this is a legitimate company. So they're probably saying some good things, because if they were not saying the right things, then they would not have had that support, and then the cycle continues. And so the speech is a small part of it. But when hate becomes institutionalized, and we realize that's happening now, when hate becomes institutionalized in organizations and in groups, it becomes harder for it to be controlled. Plus, no one is necessarily putting in their Facebook group name, I hate black people. It's usually something more concealed, like the Patriots. And so the Patriots by themselves don't necessarily say anything negative, right? But but the deeper meaning and the information and the websites that they share and all of those things, those are the things that cultivate a certain type of hate beyond just the mere speech. So that's where it gets dangerous. So one, Facebook and certain entities benefit from this type of hate under the guise of under the guise of freedom of expression. Two, when it becomes institutionalized and certain lessons are learned and people are radicalized and all of these things, it's hard to break out of that loop, and it's hard to break out of that institution. Because think about it. When you become part of, for the vaxxers or the anti-vaxxers, and I'm using that as an example because these are the two most social media polarized groups now.
At this point,
when you have committed your life, because this is what it seems like, to becoming an anti-vaxxer, the moment you decide that you're going to take the vaccine, you're going to be ostracized. And that feeling of being ostracized from everybody you know and love is why a lot of people would stay in groups. When you talk about groupthink and all of these things, stay in groups, stay in belief systems that don't necessarily benefit them, but for the sake of acceptance, they would continue to perpetuate and parrot certain talking points in order to validate or convince themselves that this thing is the way to go. And then we look at the other person like, how dare you not believe this? And that does not further any argument, because you're not putting forward anything new.
All right, Steph. Man, you've opened our eyes to a lot of things here about social media, what to do, what not to do. We want to thank you so very much, Stephen Campbell, for joining us this morning from sunny Jamaica.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, there you go. We're about to take a break. When we come back, of course, we'll be chit-chatting about the Belize Leadership Summit. It's actually the Global Leadership Summit Belize. And folks will begin to tell us about what to expect with this summit and how to prepare yourself for it. And, of course, for life. They'll be in with us in just a few. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Are you looking to invest in a growing free trade economy with ideal geographical positioning and existing economic partnership agreements with countries around the world? Perfectly nestled between Central America and the Caribbean, Belize is open for business with over $500 million in investment opportunities in industries such as agriculture, aquaculture, tourism, and much more. Register today to participate in the Belize Investment Summit 2021 and find the investment opportunity that's right for you.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
Imagine going through your entire day without the burden and risk of carrying cash on you. Belize's shift to digital wallets has begun with eCash. We can now skip the cash when collecting money or paying for our essentials, all while using a fast, easy, and secure platform. Simply add funds to your wallet via bank transfer or at an agent, and you're good to go. You will be able to make quick, easy payments simply by scanning QR codes. And best of all, it all happens just like that. Payments are as easy as clicking a link online or scanning a QR code. Download the eCash app from the Google Play and Apple App Store today and take your first step into a cashless lifestyle. The future is here with eCash. For more information, visit www.e-cash.com or contact us via WhatsApp at 613-0257 to find out more.
The continued fight against COVID-19 requires the continued practice of public health measures across all sectors and in every community. Frequent and proper hand washing, wearing face masks, and physical distancing. Do you know who is not physical distancing? The Aedes aegypti mosquito. Did you know that dengue is the most common mosquito-borne viral disease in the world? So let's get to work. Use window and door screens to keep mosquitoes out. Change the water in vases and scrub inside surfaces to remove mosquito eggs. Avoid using saucers with potted plants to prevent collection of water. Securely cover water barrels and drums with mosquito netting and properly fitted covers. Scrub the inside walls of water barrels and drums with detergent 1 to 2 times per week. Walk around the outside of your home and remove or overturn containers that can collect water and become breeding sites. Mosquitoes only need a small amount of water to lay their eggs. Remove unwanted cans, bottles, buckets, or used tires. Other items still in use must be properly stored in covered areas to avoid water settling in them. Clean roof gutters and air conditioner trays. Debushing and removing tall grass from around your home or establishment is also key to reducing mosquito populations. Fight the bite and protect yourself and your family too from mosquito-borne diseases.
Life can be tough when a loved one suddenly departs. Dependents of the deceased are sometimes left alone to pick up the pieces and may be stranded financially. Fortunately, the Social Security Board provides survivor's benefit to ease the burden. Survivor's benefit is paid to a widow or widower, children under 18 years, or up to 21 years if attending school, or dependent parents. A survivor's benefit can be either a grant or a pension. Want to know more about survivor's benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
We're back just like that. We're moving now into our second segment for this morning, and this one is all about the Global Leadership Summit. Now, definitely when you hear Leadership Summit and then you hear Global, you know for a fact that something good is on the horizon. This is not the first year. We'll definitely be chit-chatting with the representatives, and they are Kerm Timbrell, who is the chairman of Global Leadership Summit Belize, and also Claudio Leal, who is the executive member and Global Leadership Summit Belize. Guys, good morning and welcome.
Hey,
Good morning.
morning.
Good to be here, Jan.
With you,
Uh,
Paul.
Good morning.
I like the color coordination on the plan yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yes, I mean, a good plan yesterday. Good plan. But guys, let's get on into it. You know, one of the things, especially for our country, is we always strive to continue to build on leadership. We know that once it comes to leader, that good things come out of leading people. Now, the Global Leadership Summit is here, and primarily folks might be wondering, what is it? What are we talking about? What is the Global Leadership Summit?
Let me just do a little backdrop for those who don't know, John, you know.
Yeah.
We have transitioned from GLS, Global Leadership Summit, to GLN, which is a Global Leadership Network.
Wow.
Because it has a global reach. We are a global organization with 25 years of experience. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary.
Congratulations.
And we have experience and success in leadership and organizational health, right? We are an international organization that attracts around 500,000 people to our premier event in the United States. And we're talking about some of the greatest minds. The greatest minds.
Yeah.
And there's reasons for that, no? We have a faculty, we use experts. It's a faculty of experts in every single field. I mean business, government, non-profit, church, service industries, arts, entertainment, sports. And I'm reading from my notes here because I don't want to miss anything, you know. So it's experts that we put before people, and that's why we have a huge impact. We have attracted people from all sectors of our society who have given very good feedback concerning their experiences. The content resonates with them so well. Not just here in Belize, but globally. Globally, right? So this will be our fourth event, really. It's a premier event. And so the first two we've done in person, and we had Paul, who had worked in the production sector. Very good job. I mean, Paul is an expert in what he does. And so we've done two in person. We've done last year our first virtual event, which I was really blown away. In the midst of the pandemic, we had 460 people online.
Wow.
Yes, sir. And we have the record to show that they were there.
Wow.
Because we collect data even during the virtual broadcast.
Well,
and so
sure, go ahead.
Yeah, it's this is our fourth, and it's going to be virtual, and it's going to be awesome.
So the expectation is going to be a high one, definitely.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So moving now from in person to virtual, it makes it much more not necessarily profitable, but much more in terms of the reach. Are we reaching much more people this way, or normally when we're face to face, we get a lot of people? And being face to face, it's just like when they say, you know what, we want face to face learning so that we could have that first hand, you know, in terms of dealing with people. What is it like for you guys?
We have experienced the similar interests, both face to face and now virtual. And because of online schooling and all of that, people are now adapting. They have their workstation, they have the computer set up. Because we are catering for students, teachers, all the way up to CEOs, to ministers. So it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. GLS is one of the content from the speakers literally can help you see life differently, can transform your perception and how you see leadership, how you grow. You know, so comparing virtual to face, we have seen, yes, we were concerned last year because we have never done it before. And we're like, wow, we don't know what's going to happen. But because of our push, because of our group or team, you know, we stuck it out. We said, listen, we have to do this. We are at the point where our chairman was telling us, man, like, you know, some people are saying, can we pull this off? You know, because we don't know. You know, how can we get people to log in? And it's Thursday, Friday event. And so how can you convince a CEO or a manager to give your staff for 2 days to just sit down and watch a screen? How do we make that life changing? And so we literally had to sit down and strategize. And we came through. So that's why we believe in it, and we are seeing where it is helping different institutions. And so we already have I would say over 200 to 300 people already signing up.
Wow.
Over it's almost 300 right now.
Already, and right now I have about 20 names coming in today.
Oh yeah.
Between now and Friday, we have another maybe 100 people signing up.
150 more by then.
You know, so it's an actual impactful, life-changing. It helps you to see life differently. Honestly.
We'll definitely get to how to sign up because I know just hearing the word leadership, a summit, networking, exactly where we like to, because it's the importance of networking is extremely significant.
Yeah.
When you network, you learn new people, you learn new things, and of course it broadens the horizon.
Yes.
You did mention though that this is actually the fourth year or the fourth summit.
Yes.
Why year one? Why did you guys sign up on it? What was the significance of that?
Let me just, if you don't mind, let me go back and just add to the question, from a question you asked.
Sure.
This online experience has played right into the vision and strategy we have for Belize. Why? Because we have a mission to reach students. If you can impact our young people, intelligent minds at that tender age, you cannot measure the level of impact they can have on your society. By what again? Presenting them before world-class mentors. You know, Pastor Leal was talking about, you know, basically when COVID hit, we were thinking, should we have a GLS? Well, we have been trained in resilience. What is a resilient leader? They must master the unknown. You have to master the unknown.
That's deep.
yeah. We could stay there for the whole show. You have to master the unknown.
Yeah.
And so what has been critical for us is that we collect a lot of data. So from our headquarters, studying these dynamics, we've been able to look at what the experts have taught us. I mean, I'm going to mention someone like Dr. Henry Cloud, who will be speaking in this year's summit. He was hired by the U.S. government to transition the United States post 9/11, post the collapse of Wall Street. He's a psychologist. The man is brilliant, right? And so we have people that can help us to be able to understand how do we transition through major crisis. And then when you add resiliency to that we live in the unknown, it means you go before and you create problems that does not exist in your organization. You solve them. You come back to current time, and when that problem does arise, you've already solved it. That's what I'm talking about. When I talk about resilient leaders master the unknown.
The contents, I'm telling you.
I'm only giving you one of.
That's just one of the. Because I've noticed you've got a lot of people on there indeed.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about the importance of GLS to Belizeans. Why should us as a small nation, country, be interested in delving into this information and equipping ourselves with these leadership skills?
Let me handle that, Pastor, because I have the notes for it. I'll just breeze through. I have the notes for that question.
I have some points I wanted to hit there.
I'll just read through, if you don't mind. I'll just read through.
Sure,
So we'll go through quickly, right? And then you can go.
Yeah.
So why is it important? It's actually my note. It's important because we, 1 second, sorry. Because we are a tool for continual growth and development. Continuity is very important. So we're a tool by giving you the mentors, the training that you need, both on a personal, both for personal and corporate applications and environment. So it's continuity. We're not just going to come here for the first year and we're gone. No, it's continuity. We don't want to engage you. We want to marry you. You understand? Secondly, we're big on data collection and corporate trends, which have given us tremendous leverage capabilities to empower people. Why? To move forward. Is that not what you want for your personal life and your organization? So we will give you the leverage because we have data. We know what works and what does not work. From the big players, from people who have actually succeeded. Right? Thirdly, we provide an opportunity for individuals to glean from the expert experience who mastered the game. And that is what has helped us to be successful. Not everybody speaking on our stage, I'm sorry. You would have to have some serious accomplishments. Right?
You've got to be accoladed.
Right, exactly. And my final point is we have a faculty of experts because we believe it matters who train you. It matters, John. It have to matter. Right?
Claudia, you can jump in anytime, you know.
I have my last point, Pastor. You'll jump in. And then we provide you and your organization with mentors to empower your people. Why? So they can serve you better. When Paul perfect his game, does not Channel 5 look better? When you perfect your game, when your camera guys, your production crew, right? Your anchors, does it not reflect on the quality and the caliber of your organization? Of course it does. So they can serve you better. And so if you're out there, you need to invest in your people. We don't want to, like I said, we don't want to engage you. We want to marry your organization so you adopt a concept of a growth mindset.
Yeah.
You have to keep growing. The minute you stop learning, you stop leading and growing. And so let's go to Pastor. I just want to get those points in, right?
Anytime.
One of the first things, Paul, to answer that very quickly, why Belize, how can Belize benefit developing countries, small countries? These are mega speakers, accomplished speakers, many accolades. I mean, I could name any one of them and I could tell you how they, just their story, how it affected me. Because we had to do this summit before we do it for Belize. We did it in August, virtually here, our core group, which consists of a lawyer, businessmen, all volunteer. Our core group for GLS is volunteerism that is making GLS happening in Belize.
Wow.
No benefit. All of us are working. We have our salary. We're getting nothing from GLS. This is literally a volunteerism. Why? Because we want to see change in Belize.
Yeah. That's right.
And it starts with one person, and it birthed in his heart.
Yeah.
And he went to one in the Caribbean, and he said, I want to bring this to Belize. He didn't answer the question, but that's how it's here in Belize now. For 4 years.
4 years.
For 4 years.
4 years.
And we're bringing people. Every year we're adding people to our core group and assisting the core group. So we have multiple people behind the scenes making this happen.
Wow.
We have had meetings for months, every month, every Monday we meet.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been meeting. And
5 months preparation.
For this, for next week, Thursday and Friday. Next week, Thursday and Friday. But one of the key things, Paul, is one, affordability.
Yeah.
An event like this in the US is how much? 275 to 300 US for this 2-day event. In Belize, we're offering it to you. Early bird was 60. Students was 50.
Wow.
Group rate was 50. We're offering it to you today, Paul. We could talk later after this. I could give you a better deal than we're offering. John, I could get you in, and we could get. But the thing is that if you stand back and you say, "Listen, oh, we're poor Belize. We can't. All these people are renowned, and we can't
do it."
That's not applicable.
Yeah.
No, every single speaker impact your life differently.
Wow.
Every story connect with you on a different level.
Yeah.
When you walk away from this 2-day event, Paul, you will not be the same.
That's right.
Your perception and just who you are.
Yeah.
Kerm shared with me this morning. He said, it is very good to inspire people. It is amazing. I want to inspire you to be better. But how about not looking at inspiration, but look at education?
Yeah.
If I educate you, Paul, you will never be the same.
That's right.
You could go live the halakte. You could go live
anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
But your education stick.
Yeah.
And you know, so we need to, the thing is, you can't take your people, the staff of Channel 5, and take them to, I mean, how much will it cost to just send all 10
to move people out
to the US? To the US.
So we are bringing the content. We are bringing the content to you now. So you have no excuse.
Yeah.
You could set a room aside or set a time aside, and you sit behind your screen, John, and I'm telling you, you don't want to move.
It definitely
it resonates. It resonates with you.
And John, if you move, you miss.
Yeah.
Once you move, you miss.
You miss.
All right, which leads me to ask the question then, Pastor. The duration of the summit, it's going to be next week, Thursday and Friday. But what's the duration?
We start from 8:30 to about 4, because I got to cut. We want to keep it there all week if you have the time, because we have the content.
Yeah.
But we got to cut, right? We got to be, So
you have breaks,
it's 2 days. Oh yeah, no, you get an experience, and Paul knows because Paul have seen it. But I want to share a story quickly. Like I got a call yesterday from this doctor, this person with a doctorate degree, and I was so busy, putting things in place. I forgot to. I usually would reach out. I WhatsApp people, and she said, "Kerm, what happened?" She called me. What happened? She says, "You didn't send me you didn't send me an update for this year's summit." She says, "I saw you on the television. I want the information now."
Really?
She said it impacted my life so much last year. Wow. I can't miss it. This is somebody with a doctorate degree I'm talking about. And so many other success stories that we've been getting, people calling, texting, WhatsApp. Man, we've been impacted so deeply, so greatly, So
we have companies that have partnered with us. DG, we have
Billers Hardware, great sponsor. We have
great sponsors that have
Belize
partnered with us yearly, annually.
Yeah.
Right? We have people attending from DG. We have people participating from BL. We have BWS who have always sent 15 to 20 participants.
We had over 41 here. Actually.
Over 41 here from BWS linking into us. So we have teachers, we have entire staff, we have scholarships right now. This year, we're giving scholarship to Galen and St. Catherine's Academy from a donation.
To take part in this event.
From a donation.
50 for each school.
Wow.
50
because we're serious about reaching out to this
50 free links to students.
Oh yeah.
50 and 50 SCA and this is a donation from the Honorable Anthony Mala.
Yeah.
He started to buy. He said, listen, I see it, guys. I embrace the vision, and we can impact these young people's life. I said this already, but I said it in a previous show that my daughter and his son attended this year GLS in August. We got it virtually first, so we can select our speakers and present it to the country, I believe. And we asked them, so what do you think? How did this show impact you? How did this event? And men, 16 and 17 years old.
14, my son is 14. They were highly engaged.
And we asked them.
Highly.
We quiz them because you're not just sitting down. So tell me, Paul, we will get
Well, let me say this, right? Let's listen to this point. So my daughter just started St. John's from here in Belize. 16 years old. They asked her, so, Bethany, under the current conditions with COVID, if you were the CEO of a company, how would you move your company forward? And my daughter ate it up from the GLS training. My wife ran in the room and she says, Kerm, you would not believe this is GLS.
Yeah.
And she was giving me the report of what she said.
One of the things I know about GLS is that from all the speakers at the main event, you select speakers specifically to speak to the needs of the society, the current needs. What is it that you guys saw in this GLS in terms of the needs that we currently have as a nation for leadership?
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah,
that's perfect.
You know, GLS, we're a faith-based organization as well. And I'll go back 2 years. Because I studied the content in depth to be able to make it culturally relevant, you know. And when I looked, I noticed that prior to COVID-19, most of our presenters were talking around, okay, so you're slipping me. I'll get it for you.
Yeah.
I'll get it for you. But let me go to this year and I'll bring back that point because it was
very important point.
It was very important. So this year I went into GLS. I had no idea I was basically in a depression. I was depressed. I didn't even know. And I sat in those sessions. And by the time I came out, the burden was lifted.
Yeah.
I could have put words to my experiences that I had no clue I would have been able to do before. See, in this year GLS, we're going to be talking about mental health and impact on society, especially in a COVID era. This is going to be from the same Dr. Henry Cloud, who have transitioned America in those moments of crisis.
Yeah.
One of the concepts he talked about is the importance of having daily wins, small wins in your life, because it affects your human psyche. See, we're fighting a pandemic, and the issue is that we're looking at the health aspect, but what about the social aspect? The personal impacts that is having on people who are going through financial strains and losing their loved ones. This year we are really catering a lot to the individual, the health of the individual, the health of your emotions, because that is critical for you to be able to be effective in the workplace. We want you to come to work, bring your whole self to the table, and to be an effective contributor. But if you're not mentally sound, how can you do this?
How can you do it, indeed?
As a nation, when you look at, the government can't really focus a lot on that. Because there's
so many things, there's so many aspects, or so many things on the table to try and benefit a country. We're about to wrap up, guys, but I'd like to get to how can one register? I mean, the buying process is already there, but I need to know now, where do I go to register? What can I do? So I could be a part.
We're on the Facebook. We're on Facebook. GLS Belize, glsbelize.org, and you can go on that. And there's a link there that you can register and everything. But I want Kerm to share his phone number so people can connect with him also.
Okay.
So you can that would be 615-7806.
Yes.
615-7806. And I know folks will be calling because.
Oh yeah.
But I just want to add this quickly, John. On October the 28th and 29th, next week, Thursday and Friday, join the Belizeans as they get together. Curious-minded people, growth-minded people, change-driven people, men and women, for the premier leadership event of 2021.
Wow.
It's happening right here in Belize, the Global Leadership Summit. Be prepared to experience 2 days of rich, high-impact, inspiring sessions and learn, like he shared, from a diverse faculty who will share their wisdom and practical perspective to support us in our leadership growth.
Wow.
COVID 2021 cannot stop us from growing.
Could never, should never.
One of the things I know while we wrap up for sure about GLS is that I've heard people before going into it saying, I don't know why I did do this.
Yes.
Probably my company tell me come, or
Correct.
my friend invite me.
Correct.
First day, and within a matter of the first or second speaker, I get a message, boy, why I never do this for last year? You know? And those persons, when it was in person, those persons would be the earliest the next day to get premier seats to ensure that they're front and center for the second day. I've seen it personally, and so I know, I've experienced it as well, and so I know it has that impact. And so, I want to endorse it to say, encourage any believer out there that wants to tap into this. It's a good
They still have time.
Great. All right, guys. You know, it's definitely nice to have you in.
Can I send them quickly to our website is www.glsbelize.org, so they can register there as well.
Right there. www.glsbelize.org. You register right there, and registration is very reasonable. You go in there feeling a little bit, you come out from there feeling, yes, it is me.
Like a champion.
Yes,
right?
like a champion. Kerem Timbrell, Claudia Leal, thank you guys so very much for joining us this morning. Very inspirational.
Thank
and
you,
I'm sure Belizeans will be flocking to that site to make sure that they become a part of it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
All right, we're about to take a break. When we come back, we'll be chit-chatting to representatives of the Belize City Council and also the National Sports Council. 13.1 miles to be ran in Belize City. We'll tell you when, how you could sign up, what to do when we come back.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might. Let not the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord, which exercises loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord." What are the things in your life that you take your greatest delight in and boast to others about? Thomas Edison was a man of great achievements and accomplishments. On November the 21st, 1877, he announced to the world that he had invented the phonograph, only one of his many accomplishments that have often been forgotten. In his Menlo Park, New Jersey fix-it shop, he designed the household light bulb, a motion picture device, the telephone transmitter, stock ticker, improvements in the mimeograph machine, the dictating machine, and much more. If anyone had a right to glory and brag about his accomplishments, Edison did. However, he humbly acknowledged he couldn't create the simplest form of life. Yet the God who was the creator of everything gave us his perspective on the things we should delight in and brag about, things that will outlive us and outlive the world. God said, "Let us not the wise boast of his wisdom, or the strong man boast of his strength, or the rich man boast of his riches. But let him who boasts boast about this, that he understands and knows me, that I am the Lord. This is truly something to boast about." Do you really know him? Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Es un hecho. Únicamente con Smart obtienes todo realmente ilimitado. Solo con Smart obtienes datos ilimitados en cualquier momento. Mientras que con el otro proveedor solo son datos dobles los fines de semana. Con datos ilimitados todos los días no hay necesidad de esperar, así que es un hecho que nuestros planes ilimitados
superan a la competencia. Por lo tanto, no permita que le digan cómo y cuándo usar sus datos y obtenga llamadas, mensajes de texto y datos ilimitados. Vive la verdadera experiencia de planes ilimitados con Smart. Es un hecho. Haga el cambio y viva Smart.
The TV you love is always with you, from live TV, sports, and on-demand titles. Choose your plan today. Plans start as low as $15 per month. My TV, entertainment, anytime, anywhere.
Hello, welcome to Samsung's awesome experience right here in Belize. Come check it out. Not sure which Samsung Galaxy A series is right for you? Touch, play, and learn about your device before you buy. Once you've purchased your device, you can now benefit from the full Samsung service experience.
Your phone is covered by a 1-year local warranty. This includes manufacturer defects and software and hardware issues caused by the manufacturer.
Enjoy your phone with peace of mind knowing that your Galaxy is protected. And when your warranty expires, you can still bring it to our certified Samsung Repair Center. Our technicians will diagnose and repair your device with Samsung original parts and machinery.
Enjoy the Samsung experience when you shop at any of our authorized partners countrywide, including Cellular World, Digi, Odette's Home Center, Debari, Quartz, Shopigas, Gadgets, and Cellular Plus. Join the Samsung experience in Belize today.
Hey son, how was your first day at Sixth Form?
Really cool. It was great to see my friends, and I really love my teachers.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm sorry I wasn't there for your first day, but I'll be back from Corozal next week.
It's okay, Dad. I can't wait to see you. Oh, and please remember, I still have some books I need to purchase.
Ah, yes. Let me e-cash you that right now. Money has been sent. I add a little extra cash just for you.
Whoa, Dad. Thanks. Got it.
You're welcome, sir.
Download the eCash app today and take your first step into a cashless lifestyle. For more information, visit www.e-cash.com or contact us via WhatsApp at 613-0257. eCash, the future is here.
All right, welcome back to Open Rise. We're moving now into our third and final segment for the morning. Now, this one is about 13.1 miles. Yes, I said it, which is, of course, a half marathon. We've got the folks in to tell us all about it. As a matter of fact, we've got from the National Sports Council, Marvin Utley, who is the Deputy Director. And, of course, we've got from City Council, Kaya Katus, National Sports Coordinator, National Sports Council as well. A lot of things, and City Council.
Yeah.
Well, guys. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
When it comes to half marathons and when it comes to running on a whole, I get excited. How you come up that Kai and I think that you for some reason or the other. A half marathon across Belize City. Let's talk about the idea and then what we need to do to be a part of it.
Every big city you go to, John, that is one of the big sporting events that happens. You know, there's the big marathon in New York, all over the world, in every big city. Why not have one in Belize? You know, and getting up to the marathon distance, we have to first start at the half marathon distance.
Yeah.
So that is basically how it came about.
We know about half marathons, which has been happening in Placencia for years. I mean, you know, you've heard about it, and that area is definitely attractive. It's a straight road here in the city. It's curved a little bit and whatnot. But indeed, you're right, because in big cities, this is what happens.
Definitely.
But the National Sports Council also playing a big part of it. Marvin, talk to us about this.
Well, the spirit of this thing derives from no sport was playing.
Yeah.
And we had to come up with creative ways to get people
active,
to understand that, hey, sports could still happen.
Yeah.
Kaya, in her creativity and doing her travels and all of that stuff, said, well, Miss Otley, why not have why not work towards a half marathon?
Yeah.
And so we have done 2 trials, which is the 5 miles run within the city limits. And then we have now reached to the point of the half marathon. The half marathon was to be held in September, but because of the recent restrictions, we had to move it up to this time, this Sunday coming.
Yeah.
And so we are right there. I think the biggest thing was for us internally to try and test our mantle to see how we could get sports to return back safely.
Yeah, and you know, and I definitely like to touch on that, especially from the National Sports Council standpoint. How is that going for you at this particular point? We know that restrictions are about to be lifted. People want to be playing contact sports.
Today.
It's great for your health.
Yeah,
That's today.
Today.
It's great for your health.
Yeah.
What is expected of the Sports Council?
Well, a lot of preparation, a lot of training. Actually, through Kaya department, the coordinators have been trained, I think it's 4 or 5 times this year alone, just to ensure that we are prepared not only in sports, but also to work within the concept of COVID.
Yeah.
We have gotten, some of the associations have already sent in their COVID protocol regarding their tournament itself, and we have put in our own protocols for the facilities to ensure that whenever a tournament do kick off, that it's well managed and it's safe and free of COVID. So
what are some of those protocols, if you wouldn't mind? I know on a national level, the spectators are not allowed to be in attendance at these competitive sports.
Well, the key thing there is no spectators, and one of the next important thing is that the players and the officials, everybody involved in the game, have to be vaccinated, and then NSC have its own stadium protocols, which means that, for example, I could use this example in regards to football. If there is a double game at the same venue, as long as those 2 teams already played, those 2 teams have to leave the venue, and then the other 2 teams
can come in. Wow.
Things like that.
So you've got the protocols.
Yeah, we have to ensure, because for us at National Sports Council, we want to see sports come back, but we also have to ensure that once we get it going, we have to ensure that it stays on. And so those are some of the measures we have put in.
Let's bring it back to this half marathon that's happening this Sunday. What are the protocols that must be followed during this one?
Well, first of all, at the registration table, you need to present your vaccination card.
Okay.
All participants must be vaccinated. 2 jabs is best. If you have 1, the date for the second one has to have not passed as yet.
Okay.
So that is our only requirement at registration. All COVID protocols will be set in place. We have no spectators at the start-finish line. However, along the route, if people choose to, watch the race, that is not something that we have control over. That is on the road. The marathon, the half marathon passes, touches every constituency in the city.
Wow.
So it starts and finishes at the Marion Jones, and it literally goes around the entire city for 13.1 miles.
Wow. Man, it's some juicy. I love doing those things. And people must understand. I know there are some people who it's very hard on their feet. It's very hard on their knees. But at the same time, I could always tell people, look, if you want to do it, if you think about it, there is no set day as a Monday. And when you're planning on working out, there shouldn't be a specific day.
Yeah.
It's you get up now and go do it. If you leave your house and you feel a slight soreness by the time you get to the bridge, come back inside. But tomorrow you'll try it again. And if you get to the street now, you know for a fact that you've accomplished. And that's how you continue to work your way up, work your way on.
Definitely.
And by the time you notice a bump, you're like Kaya. You're actually riding across a country or riding in the next race or But who can register to be a part of this? Is this different sections now whereby you have an under this and under that? And
well,
who can be a part of it?
For this first one, because remember this is something now that we're going to do annually. It's
Wow.
going to be the last Sunday in September every year for as long as we can maintain it. We want this to be something that grows to be one of the marathons or the half marathons that the international athletes want to come to Belize to do. That is how big we want to get it. For this first one, we have 2 categories that are very vague, general. You're either male or you're female, right? Regardless of age, We just have those 2 categories. So that's for the half marathon. And the first prize in both those categories are equal at $1,000.
Wow.
And we go 10 prizes deep. Right?
Yeah.
And then we also have the 5K and 10K runs, which has the same categories, male and female.
Okay.
And this is for people who want to participate, want to get back into sports, want to, you know, lead that healthy lifestyle, but they're not ready for the 13.1 yet. No problem. We have shorter distances for you.
Yeah. Wow. Easy as that. So you male, female.
Definitely.
No necessary categories.
No.
You're going out there, register your run.
Correct.
Where is it going to start from, and how can we register?
It starts and finishes at the Marion Jones at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning. However, registration begins at 5 a.m.
Okay.
Because this is a partnership between the National Sports Council and the Belize City Council, we also have city councillors at various water stations along the route, you know, fully outfitted by Boeing and Boeing to provide water as well as Powerade.
Wow. So drink good too.
Yeah.
Yes.
With some crystal water taste you can trust.
Correct.
Yeah. So and registration is how much?
$30 per person.
$30 and you're good to go.
Yeah.
$30 and you're good to go. And we have to mention our sponsors. Of course, we have the National Sports Council and the City Council, as well as Boeing and Boeing and the Suncast group of companies. We went to businesses along the route to ask them for prizes in kind.
Yeah.
You know, not in cash. And we got from Westrock, Milky Way, Carpet Care Plus, Grace Kennedy. You know, people giving gift baskets.
Yeah.
You know, a little tool set, whatever it is, because for us, this is to also giving back to our communities, you know, giving back to our athletes. In times like this, running for 2 hours and collecting a month's salary, can't go wrong.
Generally, what's the route? I understand where it starts and where it finishes.
Okay, so when you leave the Marion Jones, you come on Princess Margaret Drive, head up Coney Drive all the way to the end, and then you make a right towards the sea. And you come all that way, what would be along, what was it called, Seashore Drive? And then you make a left that brings you out to the Divine Mercy Church.
Yeah.
Get onto the Philip Golson Highway and go all the way up to the roundabout where Reimers is. Come back down and make a right through Chetamall Street, all the way over the Chetamall Street Bridge to the Farbers Road roundabout and head down the George Price Highway, all the way to the roundabout to the Han. And then you're going up the boulevard.
So you're making a right on the boulevard?
Yeah, making a right on the boulevard, all the way up to the stoplight, where Farbers Road is.
Okay.
Farbers Road stoplight.
Farbers Road.
And then you make a U-turn and come all the way back down the boulevard, past Civic, over the bridge.
Man.
Make a right onto Freetown, right onto Map Street, left onto North Front Street, over Swing Bridge, going downtown, Albert Regent Street, back over the bridge, back North Front Street, through the tourism village, past the Belize sign, all the way down Marine Parade, past Radisson, all those areas, Princess, the BTL Park, and back to Marion Jones.
Man, you know, I'm going to drive into my head just now. I'm going to see the road just now. And I tell you what, that you know, and for me, I do it a lot, like I said. And one of the things that I like, especially when you're in unfamiliar territory, a lot of people, if you're driving on unfamiliar territory, things seem far.
Yeah.
But when you're running out there, you tend to not even worry about your run.
Yep, because
but
you know
enjoy
exactly
what's
where
out
you
there.
are.
Yes, you enjoy what's out there, and then
Definitely.
you notice I'm already here.
Yeah.
So it's surely not something hard. But I love the incentive that the winner of this one could actually walk away with $1,000. And I saw Marvin this.
You know, that is one of the attractions that we wanted to add to this race, to have our runners and international people look forward to every year. So we can go to Belize the last Sunday in every September, make back with plane ticket.
Yes.
You understand? This is, as an athlete who travels internationally, this is something that you look for. Races or events with lucrative cash prizes so that you can make back what you have invested, you know, to do it again next month.
And how many people do you guys think should be registering for this one?
We are expecting 100 athletes.
Wow.
That is our aim. That is what we hope to have.
Correct.
And I think we have publicized it well.
Yes.
And we have various groups who have been doing the 5-mile run.
Correct.
You know, who will be moving up, because this was something that they have been training for a while.
Definitely.
So we'll definitely have people from the districts as well as a lot of the runners from Belize City.
And the guys from Total Time BZ, these are things that they've been doing, which of course prepares people for stuff like this.
Definitely.
I don't want you guys to leave, especially Marvin, without the thought of we've got a Belizean team right now playing volleyball in Central America.
Correct.
And what are the thoughts on how are things going there?
Well, I know we lost yesterday again to Honduras.
We
won.
We won. We lost to Costa Rica.
We lost to Costa Rica the day
Yes.
before.
Yeah.
We won yesterday.
In 5 sets.
In 5 sets, correct. And so I'm not sure who we play today, but if you look at it, one of the setback, and especially for us at the Sports Council, is to try and see how we could get competitions come back, so that when our national teams travel, they could do much better. That have been a wearing thing for all of our ball girls. All of us know how much we love them.
We love them, man.
And we always expect that they will do well for us in Central America. So hope that there is improvement there. A little bit of fatigue as the games get older for them, but let's hope that with the remaining Amonka games, they could do much better.
All right.
The female U17 is
football
in,
team.
Football is in Florida.
Okay.
Their first game is this morning. I think it's 9 o'clock this morning. Yeah.
And the junior cycling national team also is supposed to travel tomorrow to the Junior Caribbean Cycling Championships.
Oh yes, we do have, I think,
Santa
3 of them
Domingo,
too.
Dominican Republic. We have 1 female and it's supposed to be 4 males.
Oh wow.
And then we also have an elite contingent of cyclists traveling on Sunday to Sacramento, California for Into the Lion's Den.
Wow. And I'll tell you what, she's going to be a part of it. She's going to be a part of it. But guys, now we know exactly what to expect, Marvin.
Very, very important, John. We just want to, from the National Sports Council, to emphasize that contact sports and non-contact sports resume for competition starting today.
Wow.
There is just some measures that association need to follow, and also community sports activity. One of the greater message to people who would normally want to play ball in a respective area is that ensure that the group you're playing with, everybody have their vaccine card. And if you could come together, you maybe copy all of those on one thing and laminate it. So if the police do come around, you could always show them that you all are vaccinated.
Excellent.
So.
All right. Well, now we know exactly what to expect this big half marathon in the city this coming Sunday. And it starts at 6 o'clock from the Marion Jones, ending at the Marion Jones. It's $30 for registration.
Definitely.
You must be vaccinated to be a part of it, preferably 2 of your vaccines. But if you've had 1, then that's okay.
Providing
with respect to that you haven't passed the time for your second one.
Correct.
All right. The winner of this big half marathon walks away with $1,000, and I'll show you the sign that Marvin put up a while ago.
We have $7,000 in cash prizes.
$7,000 in cash and prizes
across the categories.
All right, and
in
of course,
cash, $7,000 in cash.
And your prizes across on the route.
On the route, yes.
All right. Well, now we know exactly what to expect, man. Kaya Katus, Marvin Utley, thank you guys so very much for joining us this morning. I wish I could be a part of that, man. I mean, and I just go in for trials, and I go in for participate like that, you know, guys. I don't want nobody about my chest.
You represent.
Thank you guys for joining us this morning, guys. We're about to take our final break in the morning. When we come back, we'll be wrapping it up. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Vaccines protect you and they protect me. Getting vaccinated is one of the most important things you can do to keep yourself and your family safe and healthy. Once enough people are immunized, opportunities for an outbreak of disease becomes very low. And if we all choose to get vaccinated, we contribute in getting back to spending quality time with our loved ones in a safe way.
Hey son, how was your first day at Sixth Form?
Really cool. It was great to see my friends, and I really love my teachers.
I'm so happy to hear that. I'm sorry I wasn't there for your first day, but I'll be back from Corozal next week.
It's okay, Dad. I can't wait to see you. Oh, and please remember, I still have some books I need to purchase.
Ah, yes. Let me e-cash you that right now. Money has been sent. I added a little extra cash just for you.
Whoa, Dad. Thanks. Got it.
You're welcome, sir.
Download the eCash app today and take your first step into a cashless lifestyle. For more information, visit www.e-cash.com or contact us via WhatsApp at 613-0257. eCash, the future is here.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using Smart. During these times, we're all trying to find ways to cut costs and save the little resources we have. With Smart, it's easy to do that. It's a fact that with Smart, your credit lasts longer. You can call Smart to Smart and Smart to Digi using your promo credit, while with the other guy, you can only call OnNet, Digi, or BTL numbers. What does this mean? You get to call any national number using your promo credit. Your promo credit is free, so that call is also free. Know your facts. Don't be tricked by the other guy. Be smart and save your dollars.
Are you looking to invest in a growing free trade economy with ideal geographical positioning and existing economic partnership agreements with countries around the world? Perfectly nestled between Central America and the Caribbean, Belize is open for business with over $500 million in investment opportunities in industries such as agriculture, aquaculture, tourism, and much more. Register today to participate in the Belize Investment Summit 2021 and find the investment opportunity that's right for you.
Life can be tough when a loved one suddenly departs. Dependents of the deceased are sometimes left alone to pick up the pieces and may be stranded financially. Fortunately, the Social Security Board provides survivor's benefit to ease the burden. Survivor's benefit is paid to a widow or widower, children under 18 years, or up to 21 years if attending school, or dependent parents. A survivor's benefit can be either a grant or a pension. Want to know more about survivor's benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
And welcome back, welcome back. We have come to the end of our show for today. It was a great one, Paul. Starting off with a conversation with Stefan Campbell, who is an assistant lecturer at Carmack UWI Mona, Jamaica, talking to us, Paul, about media regulations, media literacy, and misinformation posted by users on social media. Now that conversation there, very important because he actually gives you an insight what to know, what to do in the event you find things looking this way or being that way. So we want to thank Stefan so very much for joining us this morning and talking to us about that.
I think the biggest thing that came out of that for me is while we're considering all the regulations, the most important thing is to regulate ourselves. Because at the end of the day, we are the drivers behind social media. We are the one putting out the content. So it's an individual or a few individuals behind the media houses on social media. And so it's important to look at it on a personal level. How do we regulate ourselves? How do we put out accurate information? How do we vet information to ensure that we're not causing additional harm out
Indeed.
there?
So what a great conversation. And from there, we ventured off into a conversation with representatives of Belize Leadership Summit. Yeah. Now, you did say you got an opportunity to check it out, and we feel that this is definitely a great opportunity to continue to build on your leadership quality, your leadership skills, and of course, grow your mind into new and venturous things.
Yeah, so that takes place next week, Thursday and Friday. We hear people are already signing up. It's virtual. So you could check them out on Facebook.
Indeed.
You could go to their website, www.glsbelize.org. to register. We hear the price is fairly reasonable. So if you're considering cost, then I know that the value you get in return is far greater than the money you'll pay. So
definitely, education sticks with you for the rest of your life. And a big thank you to Kaya Katus and Marvin Otley. 13.1 mile half marathon to be run throughout Belize City. It starts, which of course is this coming Sunday, and it starts at the Marion Jones at 6 a.m. Registration is $30. That registration starts at 5 a.m. You run throughout the city. You must be vaccinated to take part. They're expecting somewhere around 100 people to be a part of this one. Of course, nobody will run together, you know, everybody. Yeah. Some people will be taking some, but there will be one winner. There are about $7,000 in cash prizes. The winner will be walking away with $1,000, Paul. Yeah.
Well, and you know, they're not discouraging spectators because they can't really regulate people in front of their homes. My encouragement, however, to people would be to try to avoid gathering at different locations. You know, let's keep it safe.
Yeah.
Where we're bringing back sports. Today is the first day when we could actually do competitive sports. We're seeing things progress. So if we continue to keep things safe, if we continue to be mindful of the fact that we are in a pandemic still, then I believe we'll see further progress. So let's not take this as a, oh, we miss Carnival, so make we go up on the street side and watch them boy and them girl run through the city.
Yeah.
Not behind a big truck with music, but you know, we want to take anything at this point in time.
Indeed. So if you've got the opportunity to make sure that you sign up and you take part in the Belize City Half Marathon, which of course is going to be an annual event. Yeah. With that said, it was an excellent time, Paul. Thank you so very much for coming in this morning. And of course, to you there at home, if you've got any questions, any concerns, you could always drop us a line at oye@channel5believe.com. You could check us out on Facebook at Channel 5. Actually, look us see the Facebook one at Open Your Eyes BZ. Yeah, Open Your Eyes BZ. And also on Instagram at OYE Belize. Then again, Paul, you could join us again tomorrow morning when you open your eyes.
And start your morning right.
As usual, you keep your eyes, your minds,
and your heart open.
That's my boy. Enjoy your day, Belize. We'll see you again tomorrow. Make sure that you continue to wash your hands, keep your distance, and if you need to go on out to get vaccinated, you do so. Have a beautiful day.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country